Hello, this is Paul Chek. Welcome back to my mini-series, The Mind-Body Connection. This is part 6, the final of our series, and our title today is, What is Spiritual Evolution? Well, I've meditated on this deeply for a long time, and as usual, when you least expect it, presto, boom! The intuitive download comes, and I will show you what Great Spirit showed me, and I believe it's quite self-explanatory. So first of all, what is spiritual evolution? We need to understand what a spiritual person is. My definition of a spiritual person is one who takes responsibility for what they create moment to moment in their life. Remember, if it's happening, you know you wanted it because it's happening, and if you don't think you wanted it, that's where we go back to that personal unconscious, and remember the positive and negative. As Arnold Patent says, it means you're making choices unconsciously, and the pain and dysfunction or discomfort is a tool of awareness. Remember, awareness is a prerequisite for change. If you can't change, you can't learn, and if you can't learn, you can't change. Therefore, you can't grow. So being closed-minded is very dangerous. When we look at all the spiritual stuff that's coming out right now, there's all sorts of people going to weekend workshops and going out to the jungle and doing shamanic journeys and having their heads blown off with ayahuasca and DMT and everything else you can think of. And at large, what do I see? I see a bunch of people that start getting tattoos and braiding their hair and acting like hippies from the 60s, but their life and their relationships at large do not change. And I am pretty qualified to say that because I've had to coach many of them and help them reintegrating themselves after they've had their heads blown off with the magic medicine, which won't do magic for you, because if you're not ready to deal with yourself, you're sure not ready to deal with God, I'll tell you that. So, what is spiritual evolution? Well, as you know, evolution is the process of progressive development, the evolution of species. Spiritual evolution is quite interestingly different. I will show you what I think, from my own personal experience, spiritual evolution is. Write the word evolution like I have, and then between the O and the I, put a dash, between the T and the U a dash, between the U and the L a dash, and then read it backwards. Spiritual evolution is achieved when there is no it, you, love. What is an it? It's a thing. What did Buddha spend his whole life teaching? Desiring things is what keeps you on the wheel of samsara, or life and death. He did not say that you should not desire. It's natural to desire to love. It's natural to desire to eat. It's natural to desire to play and to learn and to grow. But it is not natural, shall we say, for spiritual evolution to desire to be the controller of the world, or to have more cars and more houses and more stuff than everybody. This is what it means in the Bible, where it says, I believe it's Jesus that made the quote, "A rich man can no sooner get to heaven than a camel can get through the eye of a needle." What that means is you can't take that crap with you when you leave. That belongs to the material world, which is really the world of, base, gross energy. It's matter is what the soul plays with, like an artist plays with paints and clay and things. When we grow through our own spiritual evolution, first mastering the self, then learning to love others, then learning to love all, we reach the point where we realize there is no thing that can satisfy us. We can't find the truth of ourselves through money, through sex, through drugs, through fame. Most of those people have tremendous problems and challenges in their life because they get to the top of the so-called ladder and they find out that they're still empty inside. So as we learn and we go on the hero's journey and we explore ourselves and we become more and more aware, and we realize that we're part of something so big and so grand and so vast and so intellectually inconceivable, that the natural process that we go through is we stop loving it. We stop falling in love with coffee cups, and we stop falling in love with Rolexes, and we stop measuring dicks and comparing titties and all that kind of base, when I point over here, I mean this last diagram, the animal stuff. We get to the point where we realize that it's all love. It's all great spirit. It's all divine. It's all we've got. And it's magnificent, wonderful, and incomprehensibly amazing and beautiful. So the goal is to love it all and to know that you're part of a process and to understand that you're an agent of divine experience. Your experiences are the experience of the world and the universe, and you are part of the collective whole. It can be no other way. It simply can be no other way. Once you spend a life like I have studying and meditating and practicing and exploring many, many ways to open the head, you come to realize that you are that. That's just simple. So in closing, the formula is dream. Dream about something that you love and do something you love. And remember, love, if we go to Walter Russell's love principle, if you haven't studied Walter Russell, highly recommend it. Just look up Walter Russell on YouTube and get ready to have your mind blown. This guy had a 4th grade education. Wait till you see what happens when the 7th chakra is wide open when you latch on to Walter Russell. If you go to www.dowsers.com, you can get Walter Russell's 1-year study program there. It's a correspondence course. Highly recommended. Mind-blowing. Dream, love. Walter Russell's love principle says love is a process of receiving and giving. If we don't receive love, then we can't be healthy and we can't be whole and we don't learn what love is or how to love. If we don't give love, we never have the experience of sharing the good, the beauty, the truth, and the joy within us with somebody else. So without that interaction, life loses its meaning. As Osho would say, it loses its juice. So dream, love, and live. Now, my final comment is if you take a moment and read that most amazing word backwards. E-V-I-L. Aho. Evil is living backwards. That's exactly what it is. The devil is just a symbol for not paying attention and not managing this thing and not editing your own story. If you don't live your dream and don't evolve and you're doing things that are causing pain to you, whether it be that means even being a vegetarian when you shouldn't be one, a vegan, whatever kind of fanaticism you got, if it's not producing health and it's not a good example for everybody to follow. If you ask yourself the question, if everyone in the world was to emulate me right now, would the world be a better place? If the answer is honestly yes, you're living. But if the way you're living is dangerous for the rest of us at large to emulate as a general theme, that is the practice of evil. To the degree that your actions are antagonistic to life, that is what evil is. I'm not against evil, just so you know. I, the Lord, create the light and the dark. I create good and evil. I, the Lord, do all these things, Isaiah 45:7. This is just a choice. When you go against life, ladies and gentlemen, you are surfing against the Tao. You are surfing against the flow of creativity, life, and the creative sex energy of the universe. You are like a cork swimming upstream in a raging, raging river, and it will be challenging, and it leaves you feeling more and more empty. But like everything else, when a person hits bottom, when you get to the bottom of evil and you feel all alone, it's perfect. It's like a drug addict or a drunk. They got to hit the bottom, and then they realize going the other way may be the better way to go. So any path is a good path. I just get concerned when we have so much anti-life going on in the name of money and, predatory lending and misguided people and 23,000 versions of Christianity. Come on, there was one Jesus. We got 23,000 different branches calling themselves Christianity. I'm not picking on the Christians. I'm just saying that is when people get confused. All we got to do is get to the basics of any of these messages, and what does it all say really? Love yourself, love your neighbor. The Bible could easily be written, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and if we all practice that, we could get rid of 997 pages of very confusing stuff that really leaves people trapped in antiquity and overlooking the sciences of quantum physics and all the new advances, which means their myths are broken. Let's get together and evolve, dream, love, and live. Thanks for joining me on this series. Look forward to seeing you in one of my HLC classes, Chek Practitioner class, Golf Biomechanics class, or maybe I'll see you in one of my DVDs or somewhere along the way. I look forward to sharing something with you soon. I'll go sit under a tall tree and see what Great Spirit wants to share with you. Thanks for joining me. I'm Paul Chek.